Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Loving Host Shorty, and today we're doing Strange. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this one. At first I thought, well, is it a one shot? Is it tied in directly? Do I need to have read everything else? But it's a really quiet week, so I'm reviewing it. And thankfully, it has an awful lot of exposition right at the front, basically explaining everything that happened in Death of Doctor Strange, which is relevant. Adds some character background for Claire, a character I honestly knew nothing about, and then kind of drops you into a fight scene. It then does that thing which Rick and Morty have parodied, where it jumps to previously on, and it's like, so we're not actually at the most exciting bit of the story. Fine, I guess. And it's easy to parody that kind of thing. It's easy to look down on it, but as a device, it works. It's effective. It basically drops you straight into the action, and then worries about setting up. I have no problem with it realistically. It's just kind of a funny thing that it's been taken mickey out on Rick and Morty. The actual comic book does a lot of cool things that I like. And one of the things it does, I'm a big fan of, is it's kind of foreshadowing. And there's a few examples of this. My favorite one is the fact that Claire, during various instances of fight scenes in this one, has killed her enemies. And Wong pulls up on that, Sorcerer Supreme didn't kill anyone. It's like, yeah, but it's a different person now. I am a warlord. I am the niece of Dormammu, and her entire existence was very, very different to anyone else. But also in the conversation, when she's talking about the fact that she's going to bring Stephen Strange back from the dead, she's talking about the fact that the Avengers, some of them have actually come back from the dead, and she would like to go and speak to them. Later on in the conversation, Wong again mentions it's probably a good idea for her to actually just reach out to the Avengers and give them a way so they can get in contact with the Sorcerer Supreme if it's necessary. Now, those are all just things that happen. But if you're a fan of comic books at all, and I suppose narrative fiction in general, what you've probably seen there is the start of a character development arc. It's basically a character who's done something which is not really acceptable by conventional standards. She doesn't think there's anything wrong with it, but she now has at least two different reasons to go and meet up with people who will disagree with her and have reason to change her mind. And that is going to be a character growth arc. And that's cool. I like the way they've done that. Earlier on, Victor Von Doom turns up and causes all manner of kerfuffle and is wildly sexist. But there's also like, oh yeah, he's going to be trouble down the line, and I think it's Wong who could put out what Victor Von Doom. You think he might be trouble, and that is like a really obvious kind of foreshadowing setup thing because it's Doctor Doom. I mean, we know he's going to cause trouble. He's that kind of guy, but they kind of have fun taking the mickey out of that kind of foreshadowing. It feels like it's so heavily hemmed in there that it's always going to happen. It also gives the characters a chance to use some kind of classic over-the-top Marvel mystic dialogue, the Horde hosts of Hoggoth and that kind of thing, and it all works quite nicely. But in the middle, there's an extra little bit where we meet a group of individuals at a goblin market, Hellboy 2-esque goblin market, called the Blasphemy Cartel. And I'd never heard of these guys before. I don't know what their gig is, but they turn up and cause disruption. And it felt like at the time that it was just kind of to show off the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme and introduce the Demimond, which is an excellent thing, by the way. I'm a big fan of urban fantasy. My favorite Neil Gaiman book is Neverwhere. So yeah, take it from that what you will. But these two people turn up and get roundly killed. Like almost every single one of them is just murdered flat out. And it's like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. But then Wong makes a comment about the fact that they were better equipped than they expect, and there's something not quite right about it. And it's like, oh, so this is another bit of foreshadowing. Now, the problem with that is it's so obviously foreshadowing where it isn't trying to be. It's not making a joke of it. It's just kind of having, I don't know, take itself too seriously and trying to be subtle about it. But it's totally not subtle if you know how literary convention works. And unfortunately, I do, which means that one was kind of like a missed opportunity. But that fight scene is also a great opportunity for them to show off the artwork, and it's brilliant. It's really cool. Character design is fantastic. There's the artist, I want to say Ferrier, sorry. They have an excellent knack for doing facial expressions. It reminds me of John McCrea at his best. It's the ability to flick from just being aghast to quizzical to concerned to angry, showing it all through the set of a mouth, a wry eyebrow raised. Everything that is important is on display, and it all works really, really effectively. And the action sequences are really cool as well. because of all the things it does right, I am certainly going to check out issue 2 of this one. But because of some of the occasionally heavy-handed storytelling tropes, I'm not putting it on my pull list just yet. But it has that potential. It certainly does. And if you have been reading Doctor Strange for a while, I think it's a really nice kind of antidote to some more old-fashioned traditional kind of storytelling and more old-fashioned traditional kind of characters. There's definitely more going on here, and I think it's worth investigating. That's it for me today, though. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.